this meeting to order. Oh, really? Oh, I did the order already?
Yes. And we said the pledge of allegiance.
Well, maybe the public one. All right. There's no, executive session's over. We're at the proclamation. There are none, and we're at committee report.
Okay.
Start it up, Tom.
Sure. I have some good news. We applied for some grants for the community center. As I said, don't want to bring any burden to the taxpayer. We didn't get everything we asked for, but that's okay. We got enough. We got 46% of what we asked for, and that is enough for the Center of Prevention and Recovery to come down once a week and do counseling, family counseling, individual counseling, and they'll come to the community center and do that. So that's a huge win for the community center. I think that's a huge blessing. And that's a good place to start. We'll keep applying for grants. If we can get a couple more days in, that would be great. But to have one full day where there's counselors, certified counselors on site for various problems, that is huge. So I think when we see the success of that play out, when we see that go forward, I think that will get us, garner us attention from the state and federal levels to give us more grants and to offer more resources. It's a great venue. So congratulations to Hopatcong. And that's it for now. And that's it, man.
Mayor, just a couple different things. One, just to let everybody know the Hudson Sewer Project that we've been meeting on is moving forward. It remains to see how the outcome of the vote is, but we should know that shortly by the end of the weekend. And at the same time, there's a potential of also running water down Hudson with another grant. So there's two potential grants, one for the sewer, one for the water, and hopefully we can do it all kind of done at the same time if the people want it and they vote yes for it on Hudson. Thank you. That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass over to John. From recreation, in the resolutions, there's a resolution about the summer camp fees, and as I said last meeting, some of that is reflective of the changes that they're proposing to make. Also, a large amount of that is because of the minimum wage that's going to be increasing. We're also preparing for Hopatcong Days, which is the 10th, Friday the 10th, which starts with the Miss Hopatcong Beauty Pageant, and then the 11th is the Hopatcong Days. And their basketball is going well. There's 5 weeks left in the season. Environmental, we had our reorg meeting. Jewel Gurman is the chairwoman once again. So we had some conversation from the beautification committee. They're thinking about trying to get something done with planters on some of our sidewalks, which would be a nice addition. We also started a subcommittee, and the Environmental Commission is going to be joining Shade Tree Federation. Shade Tree Federation. We also reviewed some of the people that are going to be on it. And then we talked about some future events. The NJ Tree Recovery Program, which last year at this time we didn't think was what we thought last year was going to be the last year. It's not. We're going to be getting 650 trees. That's going to be in April. I don't have the date written down. The block party, the Lake Hopatcong Foundation block party that they'll be participating in is May 9th. The Hopatcong Days, July 11th. And the Fall for Our Town committee is, we're going to do that again. Tentatively, date right now is September 19th. We also talked about a few other things. For example, Arbor Day is April 4th. Earth Day is April 22nd. The National Trails Day is June 6th. And both our spring and fall cleanups had conversation about them. No dates yet. And that's it.
Right.
couple of things going on. I guess I'll start with at the county level. There's a water quality committee meeting that I'll be attending tomorrow night. The solid waste advisory committee is next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is also with the Chamber of Commerce, monthly B2B breakfast in the morning. And our next Chamber of Commerce council meeting is a week from this Friday. I was not able to go to the League of Municipalities meeting last Thursday. Did anybody go? Yeah, you went. Is there anything that went on there? Steve gave an update for down in the down traffic. Yeah, it's kind of our that's all I got.
Jen? Okay. We're back. Now I'll do the administrative report.
Handed out the administrator's report. This is the first report for the year and kind of a summary of things that we did from last year. Some things I like to do when we do this, I like to talk about some things that happened since we wrote that report. We're having some good positive conversations with DOT. With help from counsel from Mr. Urson's office, we seem to have an initial agreement with the second contractor to do the River Styx project. What the initial agreement of this is that the second lowest or the second bidder in the bid process has accepted the contract. This bid was higher. So what the DOT says, they will reimburse them the material rate at what the original contractor had, and the bond counsel from the first contractor will pay the difference. So once DOT approves that amendment, if you will, we should get a letter to proceed shortly after that. But the progress is very positive now compared to where it was just really nothing going on with it. The parties have really come together and at least have a good initial agreement on how to move forward on the project. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to open the public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Welcome, public. Come on up, give the clerk your name. Come on.
Hello, my name is Colleen Lyons. I'm the administrator for the Lake Hopatcong Commission, and I wanted to come in person and thank the council for your support of the commission's grant under our P1 of the DEP and the governor's initiative to combat HABs at Lake Hopatcong. So we know that we should be hearing around February 14th if we've been awarded the grant, and we would like to start implementation in the spring for demonstrating some new technologies for HAB management and control for Lake Hopatcong. So thank you to the council for your support and in-kind services towards that grant. The second thing I just wanted to brief you on, we had an email from Marty Kane to the administrator and to the mayor about the second round of funding offered by DEP, and those applications are due on Monday, February 10th. The grant is for non-point source pollution around Lake Hopatcong, so we'll be addressing that through several projects throughout the watershed, if the grant is awarded, of course. And we did ask for an additional letter of commitment from Hopatcong towards that grant. And just to clarify the two grants, RFP1, which was submitted on January 27th, is for implementation in 2020, while this grant would be for implementation in 2021. So there was a brief summary sent by Marty Kane that we would ask that you review, and a draft letter was sent earlier today.
When was that due by?
So the application has to go out on Monday, February 10th. So it's a quick turnaround.
Okay.
I know we had 14 days between the first RFP and the second RFP. So.
What amount was that? On the second one.
$6,000.
Yeah, $6,000 of just in-kind services, and I included the sentence that you had in the first letter. So I just kind of transferred that into the second.
No money, in kind.
Just in-kind service, yeah. And that would be DPW or
right.
briefing, the public at meetings. That's all. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Thank you.
More public? Come on up. Good evening.
I think it's great that this council deals with individuals' problems as well as the community at large. At our last meeting, we had a lady that was concerned about the light shining in her house, and she asked if there could be a ordinance or there was some way that her neighbor would be prevented from shining the lights in her house.
No, we're not going to do an ordinance. I went and talked to the guy with the light.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I asked him to lower the light. He said, okay.
Oh, very good.
Well, I don't need to spend money on ordinance.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure she is. Also, when you sent out the notices to the Hudson possible sewer purchasers, did you also include a letter about HUD being? I thought we had agreed that you were going to let them know that they might be able to be financed by HUD.
Conversation.
I got to see, a lot of people got to see it the other night, last night, actually.
Okay, good. With the shelter for the town, whatever you like to call it.
Shelter.
The shelter.
Thank you.
Okay, with the shelter, I was under the impression that the town or the borough pays for the food for the cats and the dogs and their needs.
Well, no, we get a lot of donations.
Yeah, but from what I gathered, was soliciting funds for it. Is there enough in the budget for the one dog and the 6 cats?
Sorry. The one dog.
Yes. And I was just wondering, why do you need 2 sheds for this small group of animals?
To store supply, traps, and other materials.
I see, the one shed, and we have to build another one.
Right.
It's being donated.
We're not having to build it.
Oh,
Being
it is.
Being donated.
She gets all kinds of food every day donated to this. She's got a
We actually help other shelters and people in need that have animals.
I see. And the last thing is, with the Hudson Maxim School, have we got any bids on it?
I don't know.
Right?
You're at the wrong meeting.
I see.
That's Board of Education. We are, the borough has received a grant to do a market study in progress. The market study will look at demographics and possible uses of the building. That might help the school. It would definitely help the town. We are not part of the sale.
Oh, I see.
That's the school.
And there is no realtor that's involved at this point.
That's school. I couldn't
That's the
answer
school.
that. Yes.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
Board of
very-
Education property.
I see. Okay, thank
We're
you.
just trying to help them.
Right. And how's the redevelopment coming along?
What?
How's the redevelopment coming along by, down in that area?
Going along fine.
No, I mean, has anybody started building or renovating or?
No more, no less. They're still working on townhouses. We're going to start the beautification that we were supposed to start more than 2 years ago. Well, that's finally resolved. So you'll see improvements, the beautification, the street improvement. That all adds to the desirability to come there.
I'm glad to see the River 6 project is moving along.
And it was.
Did you see the beautiful streetlights by the townhouses?
No, I didn't. I don't go down that way. I go right.
They're quite nice.
I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're finally on. And so is the lighthouse.
Lighthouse?
You haven't seen the lighthouse?
No.
Okay, you got it right down there.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Please,
Thank you.
more public? Go on up.
Pete Freckling, 443 River 6 Road. I should know this, but I need contact information for the synagogue/Jewish Community Center. As a friend of mine who's a religious scholar is downsizing his library, and he had some Talmud type belongings and stuff like that.
Oh, my administrator.
Okay, perfect.
Say it again, what you need?
Peter?
No, what you need, what information is.
The Jewish Center contact information.
Yeah, Jewish Center contact. Okay,
We'll get that.
tomorrow.
We don't do that publicly.
Okay, very good.
More public?
Mayor Woods, we haven't executive session for the matters of contract for the PBA and you have it on resolution, so is it settled and you're putting it on the resolution?
Well, we'll let you know when we get the resolution, Mary. The reason it's there is in case it can be settled, so the executive session was to discuss that.
Okay, so you just put it on there just in case?
Yes.
Okay, and from what I understand now, the shed net is going under a trust instead of under a 501(c)(3) donations?
I'm sorry.
Well, I asked about the 501(c)(3) that the ACO set up the last time for the shelter, and you said you were going to look into it.
501(c)(3) is not set up for the shelter.
What you're collecting donations for the shelter.
I understand.
And you said you were going to look into it, so I was wondering what the outcome was.
We looked into it and we made sure that no money is collected through an outside 501(c)(3) for Borough of Hopatcong.
Okay, but you're still saying there's tax deductible donations, and it's looking like it's for the town.
It is
So
not-
maybe we should make that a little more clear.
I think we made it plenty clear. If money wants to be donated to the town, it can be donated to the town directly. It's tax deductible. There's no separate 501(c)(3) collecting money for the town.
Okay, thank you.
Public?
Two questions. One is on the, why are we waiving the hookup fee for 50 Jefferson? Why are we leaving it consideration? So when I found the agenda.
The one right there. Sure.
You want to request to have the fee waived?
Yeah. Coming on the recommendation of Patty.
That comes from our tax collector.
That council doesn't make a decision on whether or not to waive a fee. They're hooking up, correct?
I don't know the details. When the tax collector makes a recommendation, that's her recommendation. We can have her give a report on that.
Said they were not.
Huh?
Well, it said they were not.
No, they are hooking up. There's actually a house being built there right now. There's a builder that's building a house there. And the second question is, and I just for clarification, because I don't know, the farmers market, flea market combination, whatever it's going to be in the spring, is there an employee that's dedicated to run this now that there's no volunteers?
We'll have a town employee collect the fee. And yes, I'll have,
organize it and
Yeah.
be there on that whatever days it is,
yeah, that
Saturdays,
includes
Sundays,
me
whatever.
too,
Okay, thank you.
as I always did with the farmer's market. More questions?
Hello, everybody on council. My name is Christopher Vincent, 33 Toby Hannah Trail. I come to you with a concern I have, starting off with the question, am I allowed to use the Community Wellness Center? On January 2nd, 3rd, and 16th, I reached out to the Community Center official borough Facebook page asking if I was allowed to put up a flyer for a local event I started to help local families in need who can't afford Valentine's Day goodies for their kids and classmates. With the admin seeing these messages and no reply even till today, I found myself to be blocked from the page, now missing out on free veggies, project self-efficiency, and things that can help me and my family. In the state of New Jersey, it is illegal for any town official or employee to block a resident or delete a comment from a borough page. As far as I'm aware, the admin of the Facebook group is Dawn Roberts. And that leaves me with the question, do your personal issues affect a resident's ability to use this great resource for our town? And that question is, can I help families in need in our town and surrounding towns who can't afford Valentine's Day items for their kids? Or do I get punished for helping other residents? On a positive note, I would like to thank all the residents in Hopatcong who have put together 5 baskets to help families in need. and I have in our many future events, I can use these resources in town, and our officials will finally take part in these great events to benefit our great town. Have a great night.
I'm actually going to respond to that. Of course. So no one is blocked from the community center. We do set an away message every weekend. An away message doesn't mean you're blocked. So I have your messages here. You said you reached out to us specifically about Valentine baskets. Obviously you're not blocked because I have your messages from those dates, timestamps.
No, I was blocked from the tweet.
No, you were never blocked.
Well, I have it right here that I was, and I could not comment or see anything.
It's I have it too, where it says I have a printout.
All right.
But wait. I have it where it says your message is important to me, and you have it because you put it on Facebook. The screenshot.
That was your council thing.
No. That was the community center.
Well,
So you said that you reached out about Valentine's basket. Your messages say, is there a community board up in the Community Wellness Center where we can advertise our business and site and or leave a flyer for an upcoming event? I could not reply to you because you had me blocked. It told me I could not reply to your conversation.
Facebook rules.
So then you said, this is the second time reaching out. I was wondering if I could get an answer. I'm a resident. This is the third time reaching out. No, so 3 messages, nothing about you wanting to donate a Valentine basket. Excuse me, if you are going to come up here and you're going to give false testimony,
I don't want to hear
don't have a side conversation. If
Yeah.
you're going to give false testimony about the center, then you're going to get a rebuttal. There is nothing in your messages about you wanting to donate Valentine baskets to the community center.
what there is.
And no, there's not. I have them. I have them.
Well,
So
I'm sorry,
next
I have
time,
them too.
and I know the mayor told you if you had something, you definitely could have brought it to him, which you did not.
So I would like to see these, so they match mine. And
They're right
if you're-
here.
No, I want to see them.
They're right here.
I don't
No,
see
that's
here. Well, look at mine
that's
and
enough.
look at yours.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. So that is what it is. Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you for filming that.
Am I allowed to use the community center, is what I'm asking for.
To promote your business?
No, to do an event, which you have posted.
You
The-
need to ask me, you need to let me know what your event is.
I tried doing that badly.
You've
I have
never
here.
been blocked, so I don't have any information on what event you would like to do.
Unfortunately, I did message you through your councilwoman. That you are not blocked on. But as
And
a-
you're not
if
blocked
you
on
knew
the community
anything
center.
about
Thank you for your time,
anything about
Christopher.
Facebook.
Thank you for your
No,
time.
because you can't do that to people who don't fit.
No one
You
did
can't
it,
do
no
that.
one did
No, no.
anything to you.
I tried. I can't speak my opinion. I have a right to speak, I do. It was my turn.
That's it. That's
Thank you,
conversation.
Dawn,
Next
for not
question.
letting me talk.
Next person.
Do we have more public?
That's wrong. Yep, and that's good.
Hearing none?
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're back. Approval of minutes. Minutes of the regular meeting, January 15, 2020. And minutes of the executive meeting on January 15, 2020.
Mayor, unless somebody objects, I'll move them both at the same time.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hopatcong.
Abstain.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Approval of the bill list.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone need anything else? Not hearing or seeing any, Mayor, I'll move the bill list in its entirety.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hopatcong?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Approval of consent agenda.
So I'll make that move. Second.
Call the roll, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Ordinances, introduction of ordinance 01-2020, commercial store billing amendment, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, modifying section 186-9F of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Hopatcong. This is introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please. All in favor? This introduction.
Aye.
Ordinance 3-2020 fee for Hopatcong Market, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, supplementing section 108-1 fees of the revised general code of the Borough of Hopatcong.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And there'll be the final hearing at the next meeting. This is final hearing. Ordinance 2-2020, no parking on Edsel Road. An ordinance amending section 231-16 entitled Parking to add a no parking zone on a portion of Edsel Road.
So moved. Second.
I'll open this up to the public for any comments or questions. Go to the public. Call the roll.
Before we actually vote, I just want to note that on the actual printout that we have, Ratalia is spelled wrong. It should be Rapaly.
That's right, there's Raphael.
Y.
So it is so correct. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Resolution 2020-23, the PDA contract.
Table.
You're going to table it? Do I hear, did I?
1 second.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Okay, resolution 2020-37, refund of tax overpayment, block 30401, lot 7.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Present.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Resolution 2020-38, recreation fees, summer camp.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2020-39, hiring of recreation seasonal help.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Resolution 2020-40, declaring support for Second Amendment rights.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
2020-41, waiver of sewer connection fees for block 40217, lot 26.
We discussed it. No.
Sure.
Is there a reason why we're waiving sewer connection fee?
I don't know the answer to that, but that usually just waiver of any fees or come from our tax budget.
Not sewer connection fees.
Not sewer.
And again, I would say that the statute doesn't allow for waiver of sewer connection fees. And there are times when there's in-kind donations with developers and so forth to the sewer infrastructure. But the way the resolution is written, it doesn't appear that that's the case. I think my recommendation would be not to pass this, and if there's further information, it could be provided to the board.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to table.
Table it.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Is this the table?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
If it's not appropriate, it doesn't come back. So that's how that works. Resolution 2020-42, tax overpayment refund, block 10713, lot 6.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Resolution 2020-43, increase in change fund for tax utility office.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Ms. Roberts?
Present.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Old business, approval of an unemployment settlement. I think everybody's familiar with that, but we might have previous executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
New business, appointment of Susan Clem to the Recreation Commission as alternate number 2, with a term running through 12/31/2020.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hoppercamp?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Schindler?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
I'll try to keep my comments short tonight. But I will touch on the community center grant. We're very pleased with that. It brings us in the right direction. We're bringing help and counseling to people that need it. And basically, it's like our original vision was. We always told people, we got to help people, you have to go to Newton. We're bringing Newton here. Only for 1 day a week, but it's a start. I think it was a $40,000 grant or some such thing, but it pays for someone from Newton to be here, and they're certified counselors. That's important, and we really need that. The Hudson Avenue Tour Project will have final results by the end of the week on whether the people choose to accept that or not. And as I've said publicly, any which way I can, if the majority says they would like tours on that road, we'll proceed with the loan and the grant. If they say no, then it doesn't happen. A little different than the original, but I believe it's the better thing to do. We've had some meetings with the people. I spoke to many people on the phone. There's a clear understanding what's going on. And again, we will honor the final count of what people want it or not. And if that's the case, we'll move on with the grant. There's a clock on the grant, so I have to let the DEP know what we're doing probably early March. So we've got this month, and the same goes. The DEP has now contacted us and said that they're going to make the same type of grant available to run a water line on Hudson Avenue. It's critical. It's not just for people on Hudson. This water line on Hudson closes the loop. It connects the back loop of our water system. In English, that means currently, if we have a problem with the water line on the bridge, nothing north of the bridge has water, because our system crosses over there. If I can do the back loop of the water, then I feed back the other way. So no matter what happens on the bridge, I can guarantee our residents water. And so it's critically important. And, you know, the other good thing is on Hudson Avenue, some of them wells on their best day are marginal. They're all working now. But so this is a win-win for the town. And it also gives fire protection to that road, which they don't have now. And so it has a lot of good benefits. If we're successful, it'll be probably close to an $800,000 project, and I can probably get $400,000 in loan forgiveness. And the balance of the loan is at a very low interest because of our rating, a AA+ rating. That's still not settled yet. The Water and Sewer Committee have recommended that we move forward with it. If it gets really serious, I'll make them presentations for the grant acceptance to the council when we know that we can go ahead with either or project. So I think they're both good for the town. The infrastructure improvements are excellent, and I think it would be good for the residents also. The quality of life is important. The grant that Colleen talked about with the DEP, the Lake Commission has applied for grants, and so has the Borough of Hopatcong. I focused on Crescent Cove. We currently have a grant that is being considered by the DEP. I have letters of support to the governor and Commissioner McCabe from our representatives, Senator Rojo, Al Worth, and Parker Space have sent letters to our support, and Mikey Sherrill, our congresswoman, has also sent a letter of support to the Crescent Cove project because that is really important. I cannot stress the importance of fixing that problem. I know we talk about runoff, that's all important. The shoreline on Hudson will take 35 septics offline that are lakefront. It has a lot of benefits because a lot of moving pieces. I understand the issues of runoff. I understand all the stuff that goes on. It's not just septic, but they're a piece of it. But the more important thing is we have a cove that has tested bad the first day and tested bad the last day. It tests typically the worst quality of water on the lake. That's because it's like a little 60 to 90 acre inland lake. The mouth of Crescent Cove is River 6 Bridge. Not quite 90. The cove is treatment from a company in Michigan that adds aeration, and they treat the cyanobacteria with other bacteria. The treatment, this mitigation involves no chemical, no lime, no line, no chemical. It's all natural. It's air and good bacteria. Basically, the good bacteria outcompetes the cyanobacteria. It doesn't kill them, it just starves them, if you will, because it takes their food source away. I have asked the state, we had an HAB summit up in the Peak West Hatchery, which was quite beautiful. I've asked the state to stop issuing herbicide permits for our lake. Part of the problem with our lake is when you put herbicides in and kill the weed, they don't dissolve. They drop to the bottom and they rot. So right now you have a giant mulch pile that's consuming oxygen. So you have all these rotting weeds on them. I have 400 acre, 800 acre part of the lake. After 20 feet, there's no oxygen. The oxygen is just not there. So that's really bad for the environment. I don't quite have the answer to that yet, but I want to start with Crescent Cove. And our goal with Crescent Cove, the borough's goal is to make that clean, pass all the tests. And so we do have voters that go in there. And we can't have another year like we did. We just can't. If I don't get the grant, I'll be back trying to do something different, and I'll ask our people for help if I have to. The grant that I proposed is $253,000. The borough comes up with 1/3 of that, which is $80,000. So I'll have to capitalize that and put that in the budget. But it's so important that we do this. It's worth every penny we spend on it. That offers for people to help. Maybe we'll take them up on that, and maybe we won't. But I just want to keep the public and the council informed on how that's working and the importance of it. It cannot stress enough. We can't have another year like last year. We cannot shut our lake down again, or the DEP can. I've had conversations with them. Some of our conversations are they don't like, because I haven't seen our DEP do anything. We're trying to do it. The Lake Commission is working hard. The Lake Foundation is working hard. The Borough of Hopatcong is committed to the quality of life of our lake and the residents that it affects. But when I talk to the state, all they do is measure and tell us we can't go in the water. My question to the state is, what are you doing? What's your project? How do you intend treating it? And I don't get clear answers on that, but I keep asking the question. So our lake is pretty much our lifeline. That's what we are. We don't have a big highway. We don't have Route 15. We don't have Route 23. What we have is our lake. And if people stop coming to our lake, that's very bad for our business. It's very bad for our town. So I want to show people that we do care about our lake, and that we do have parts of our lake that are clean and pure. And my goal is to make them that way. That's what this grant is going to do, have these requested goals. That being said, that's all I have to say, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? We're done. Thank you for coming.